Hello, and welcome back to Bitcoin in Asia. This week's conversation was one of my favorites so far. I'm excited to get it out. I met up with Topp Jirayut, who is one of the most successful and impressive young founders in Thailand overall. And relevant to this podcast is the co-founder and CEO of Thailand's largest and fastest growing Bitcoin exchange, Bitkub. Also, prior to founding Bitkub, Topp co-founded another one of the most successful Bitcoin companies in Southeast Asia to date, Coins.ph, out of the Philippines, and also ran its Thailand branch before it was acquired by Go-Jeck. Some fun and inspiring stories from that time, as well as insights on running and growing Bitkub, the Bitcoin ecosystem in Thailand overall today, and its progression. I think Topp's is actually one of the best and most instructive stories in all of Bitcoin, and I hope you enjoy it and learn something from this conversation.
All right. Thanks for hosting me in y'all's office today, Topp. It's fun to be back in Bangkok and to be in the new office this time.
Happy to welcome you here.
Thanks.
Nice to see you.
Thanks. The last time I was here, I guess we first met back in early 2019 at a meetup that we were kind of on the panel at, and then when I came to your office, then I was very impressed by the amount of activity, the amount of kind of energy there. But now I think my first impression is just how nice of an office this is, and how you've moved into a nice new building, nice new office. So congratulations on that and all the growth.
Thank you.
Really excited to get into kind of your background, how Bitkub came to be what it is today. And so kind of start out, just, I guess, take us back a little bit to your kind of your background in Thailand and university days.
Sure. So my name is Topp. I was educated in Thailand until primary school. And after when I finished I was actually a very bad student.
Okay.
I always got into fights.
Fights,
yeah. So
bad.
At school.
Oh wow.
So bad that my parents had enough. So they decided to send me to New Zealand.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, it's a really quiet country.
Yeah.
Small. A country of 4 million people. With sheep. I'll be fine there.
Okay, that's wild. I didn't know that.
Send them to send me and my brother to a boarding school there.
So your brother got shipped along with you. So was he happy with you, or was he upset about?
Both of us were really naughty, bad students.
Oh gosh.
So we both were sent together to New Zealand, and still, even in New Zealand for high school, we was just focusing on sports mostly. Didn't focus on study.
Okay. What were you playing?
Football.
Okay.
The main sport here in Thailand is football.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so bad that I realized a bit too late when I was about to apply to the university that I could not get into any of the Thai universities.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because my grade was so bad.
Okay.
And that was the shocking moment that I should have focused more on my study. The guilty moment.
Yeah.
But luckily, I also applied to the UK. The UCAS system. You get to pick 5 choices. Mm-hmm. And luckily, the middle rank university accepted me.
Okay.
Manchester University.
Yeah, Manchester. Okay.
So when I made a promise to myself from the very first day of uni that I would change my life, turn my life around.
Wow, what an example! That's great.
Because it was so embarrassing that I could not get into any of the Thai university after years of study.
Yeah.
So the first day of university, I remember entering the library for the first time in my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. In Manchester. Were you a Manchester City or United fan?
United fan.
United, okay.
Part of the choice is why I chose Manchester because I was the United fan.
Even the application process, you're putting school second there.
Yeah. So it was the first day of first uni. I entered the library for the first time. And then I promised myself I would study hard and turn my life around.
Okay.
And that's when I started to sacrifice for purpose now. That was the first time in my life that I started to sacrifice for something. So I started to go into the library, 10 hours, 12 hours a day.
That's a big move, big change.
Yeah, big change. And even on Christmas, when all the kids flew back home, international students or local students, they all flew back to their hometown. I'm the only one.
Wow.
powered through snow
Oh,
to the office, to the library.
And you could have been back here in Bangkok, and we already have Christmas decorations out now. It's early December, but it's nice and sunny and warm, and Manchester is not.
No, it's really cold. So I powered through snow every day to the library, studying, and after 3 years, to my surprise, I came first out of the whole university.
Wow. Okay.
I got a special prize. After graduation, I'm the only one with a purple scroll.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was exceeded my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first time I realized that, oh, wow, actually, when you really try, you can actually achieve beyond your expectation.
Yeah.
And then I was fortunate to get into my dream school, to Oxford, Cambridge, LSE. I applied to all, and then I decided to choose Oxford for my master's. I was reading economics at university, and still at Oxford, another 2 years of no life, 12, 14 hours every day. Then after graduation, I was like a traditional economics student. I was taught to go follow the investment banking route or consulting. So I decided I had enough with UK in the last 5 years. I would like to try new things. So I applied to Shanghai to an IB job in Shanghai, because back then China was booming and people were taking Chinese companies public in the US. So I decided to join a boutique investment banking firm in Shanghai.
So you're following the trends even back then, saying, hey, I want to be kind of where the action is, China.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't know what to do actually with my life after graduation, because I've been just focusing on studying, nothing on career. I didn't do any of the applying or any of the career or job applications during the university. So after the first month into IB job, I found out about Bitcoin. This is in 2013, just from browsing the internet. I still remember chatting with my colleagues about Bitcoin. Do you know about this thing, Bitcoin? Why is the price going up? This investment vehicle, the price gone up to $1,000. What is this thing? Internet money.
Yeah.
And I started to get curious. And luckily, I dig more into it and becoming more and more convinced. I read a blog that changes my life actually, called Why Bitcoin Matters. Yeah. Written by Marc Andreessen in 2013. Back then, most people thought Bitcoin is like toy money, like internet money, or dark money, money laundering, drug dealers, right? Terrorists. Don't go anywhere near it. But I was fortunate to get to read blogs written by Marc Andreessen. This guy sees technology at least 10 years before everyone else does. Right? He was when he was a university kid, he built the first browser, Netscape, and sold it to Microsoft. Right? Become a rich guy. After Netscape, he ventured into cloud computing at least 10 years before AWS does. And in 2000,
partner.
And in 2013, he also invested a lot in cryptocurrency and blockchain companies. So this guy sees at least 10 years before everyone else does. And I was fortunate to get to see another angle of Bitcoin by reading through his vision, his blog, Why Bitcoin Matters.
And that ended up being an op-ed in the New York Times too, but you found it on his blog.
Yes, in New York Times. So I was convinced. I see the other side that most people didn't see. And then, that was my first job in IB, and I was discovering myself. After a few months, I found out that I hated corporate work. Okay. I hated investment banks. So I decided to quit and applied to a new job. And personally, I like technology, and I graduated in economics. So I tried to apply for a job in Silicon Valley. But since I had the economics background, I could not get a job there. Yeah. So the best I could do was a job closer to the Silicon Valley area. I got a job in San Francisco in a boutique financial consulting firm. So I was starting a new job.
Anything to get you there, where the action is in tech.
Yeah. So I got a new job as a financial consultant. But during that new job transition, I had a month, free.
Okay.
Free.
You're NSF. You have a month free.
In Shanghai.
In Shanghai. Okay.
I flew back to Thailand. I had one extra month.
Gotcha.
Before the new job. transition. So I decided to email my friend in the Philippines and said, I have a month free. I don't want to let it go waste. Do you have anything I can do?
Yeah. And
her name is Beryl. So she said, Topp, come to the Philippines. The startup scene was about to take off.
Yeah.
Then I was like, sure. The next day I packed my bag and flew to
I love it. Yeah.
To Cebu to work on a small project with her called World Startup Reports.
World Startup Reports. Okay.
My role there was to compile all the startup reports in Asia. How many types of businesses were there in the startup scene in each country?
Yeah.
And my role was to do research about Thailand startup scene.
Okay. Yeah.
And I found out then that no one was doing anything about Bitcoin. There was another insight that I had during that connecting dots.
Yeah.
And during my time in the Philippines, Beryl introduced me to two of her friends because she's in the startup scene called Ron and Runa. They are the tech guys from the Silicon Valley, ventured into the Philippines market because Philippines market we're growing at 7% per year. It's a growth economy.
Yep.
So these entrepreneurs were looking for new ventures, new opportunities. So we got along really well. We talked about Bitcoin. We both share the same vision that it's going to change the world. When the rest of the world didn't agree with us back then.
For sure.
So we got along. And then a month has gone by. Flew to to San Francisco to start a new job. And I completely hated consulting even more because it's more research work. I had enough research work doing my master's degree.
Yeah, you were doing the 12-hour days already back then.
Yeah, and consulting is like even more research. I told myself I had enough. So every weekends I would drive to Silicon Valley to visit Google, Facebook, my real passion.
Yeah.
And
these are you're visiting like friends from university and people you're kind of networking with in the area.
Yeah, went to like Stanford, Berkeley to see the environment and everything. I completely loved San Francisco.
The curiosity, and you're getting around, learning everything you can.
Yeah, it's like an amazing city. Even when I went into a pub, like I talked to people in the pub, and everyone was like, "Yeah, I'm running a company and I'm changing the world." Everyone is like an entrepreneur. It's a very unique experience compared to if you go to a pub here in Thailand, probably you're gonna a different experience for sure. Right? And I also emailed an ex-PayPal executive, Dan Schatt.
Okay, yeah, Dan. I just met Dan for the first time in Macau a couple months ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So back then he left PayPal already, and I messaged him to arrange a meeting in a pancake shop in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Ron also flew over to meet with Dan, and we shared insights. And we asked him about what he thinks about Bitcoin, and these tech guys are very, very positive thinking. They all saw the other side of the coin potential, so that reinforced my beliefs about Bitcoin. And then I messaged Ron and Runa. I had enough. It's consulting.
What are Ron and Runa doing at this point?
They were researching. They started as an accounting startup, accounting tax startup. They were still exploring different options, what they want to do in the Philippines.
And had Dan already started Cred? Or when did he start?
Dan Schatt was working he was consulting for a company that installed machines for different places to dispose coins internally to like credits. Like small change. Or maybe that was part of the PayPal plan he was sharing with back then. It's been a long time. So I messaged Ron Runa and said, let's start a Bitcoin company.
Yeah.
And said, fly over to the Philippines. And then I booked a ticket right away. Flew to the Philippines. My parents were shocked. So you can't just job hopping like every 2 months. Like this it's not okay.
And so they had the experience of being worried about you in high school, sending you off to New Zealand and seeing you transformed in university, and now you're this Oxford educated guy who's in investment banking and an SF, and they're like, hey, this is great. This is exactly what you want us to be. And you're like, hey, let's give all this up and start a Bitcoin company in the Philippines.
Then they didn't understand my decision back then. But luckily I had like they let me try my own thing. So I started a few months with the first Coins.ph in the Philippines, and then I decided to fly to Bangkok to start Coins.th, another office. We were raising like seed round back then, and in this is early 2014 now.
14. So the Coins.ph started as an entity in the Philippines. You're there for
like 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah, at the very start.
Yeah.
And then I flew to Thailand to start another office. I started Coins.th office from a spare room.
Okay.
In my house.
Yeah.
And
what was the structure like that? What was the structure of the Thailand entity compared to the Philippines entity? Was it joint venture or?
No, it's a same company.
Same company.
We structured it as parent companies in Singapore, as other startups do here. And so we expand the office to Thailand. We started from a spare room at my house. I started everything from the company incorporation. It's like a one-person company.
Oh yeah. A lot to learn.
Yeah, I was 23 back then, and I was still living with my parents, right? And they were very worried because every day they see their son like gets up, doing whatever on his own thing on a computer called Bitcoin, not leaving the room.
Yeah. I think
couldn't hire any employees because no one believed in what he does.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And I think you had a nice profile in the Bangkok Post a couple of years ago. I think there's a line in that article about how they were quite upset that you were spending your time doing these strange things.
Yeah.
I think other people who have started businesses in this industry can certainly relate to that kind of judgment. But so you're a one-man shop in back in Bangkok now.
Yeah, they were very disappointed because they didn't understand what a startup was back then.
Yeah, are they in kind of traditional business here?
Yeah, they run a traditional business, export-import business, garments, and they started to start saying something to me like this is after a few months of working alone.
Yes.
Topp, why don't you go get a proper job? You have a degree from Oxford. Look at your friends. They all work for McKinsey, BCG, huge paychecks. Yeah. What are you doing unpaid? In a spare room, living with the parents.
Sure.
And when I go to see my friends, quarterly catch up, they would ask what were you up to with life?
Yeah.
I would say I started a Bitcoin company. What is they would start to ask questions like, what is Bitcoin? What is a startup?
Yeah. And
they all bragged about themselves like, oh yeah, now I work for BCG, Goldman Sachs. From the same class, right? Same graduating class. So people did not understand what I was doing back then. And I could not hire anyone because I was 23.
Yeah.
And I was doing something very strange back then.
Yeah.
Called Bitcoin.
So sorry to interrupt one more time. So you're in the Philippines for a few months. What's the Bitcoin scene ecosystem like in was it in Manila or were you still in Cebu?
No. The second time I visited the Philippines, we start the office from Manila.
Yeah. And is there much of a scene there?
No. Back then, people were doing OTC.
Yeah.
Local Bitcoin. So I still remember we had to create a front page Bitcoin company, but on the back end, we're still using local Bitcoin manually as a wallet.
Oh, that's hilarious! Yeah.
Transfer in and out for customers, and running around cash in, cash out to make sure the orders are being fulfilled.
And this Coins.ph, just to add in, probably the most kind of successful exit of a Bitcoin company out here in Asia so far. So sold to Go-Jeck last year, and a nice exit. But humble beginnings with using the back end. Using local Bitcoins as the back end. So anyway, you're in Manila, you come back to Bangkok. I guess there's not really a Bitcoin scene here either.
So we were operating out of local Bitcoin earlier back then, and I could not hire anyone.
Yeah.
The first 2 employees of the company in Thailand, I had to convince 2 of my cousins.
Your cousins, I love it. Yeah.
They were free, so I convinced them to try and help me start this office because no one believed in what I was doing.
Yeah.
Then we gradually grew about, I think 6 months into operation, the Bank of Thailand issued a letter saying Bitcoin could be a Ponzi scheme. The value could go to zero very quickly. This was an official letter sending to all the banks, every single bank, not to go near Bitcoin and not to facilitate any activities. And my parents went crazy and said, "Topp, you have to really like stop doing this."
Yeah.
Who would they believe? A recently graduated son or the Bank of Thailand?
Right, for sure. Yeah, that's like the worst thing publicity-wise for Bitcoin that can happen here at that point. Yeah.
So there were a lot of arguments in the family because I tried to say, I read the blog from Marc Andreessen. This is going to change the world. Trust me.
Who's this guy? Yeah.
It was so bad that to the point that one day I'm the oldest brother and I had to transfer money to my sister in the UK. That was my job.
Yeah.
And I told them, I will prove for you that I can transfer this money to hit the UK's bank account within 30 minutes with Bitcoin.
Okay.
I had to transfer about 200K baht to my sister, Nan. Her name is Nan. And then I told my dad to wire that money to my account. I will show you the minutes. So after that, I logged into local Bitcoin. Start buying Bitcoin, send money to sell it, and local Bitcoin UK. And then entering my sister's Lloyd's bank account. After 30 minutes, Nan rang home and said, the money already arrived. Without knowing that I was using Bitcoin back then.
Yeah.
And my dad was like shocked.
Impressed.
He was impressed. I was in a spare room at home, did not move anywhere.
Yeah.
How did my sister called over and said the money hits the bank.
I love that. Showing him.
But it's not just that. Nan also said, why did you wire extra money? Why did
the price of Bitcoin had gone up in 30 minutes?
So I made an extra 5% profit on that transaction.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So that's when my parents started. Okay, Topp, let's see.
Okay,
so, I proved to them that I made an international transfer, but ended up with more money.
Right,
it's a better option than traditional banks.
Yeah, could have gone either way there, but you got lucky with the 5% more.
Yeah. So we started to grow from 3 people to 6 people to about 10 people company. So about 10 people, that's when I was fortunate to move out of the house.
10 people, okay. Hit double digits, move out of the house. What are your main kind of products at that point when you're growing early stages?
It was just a Bitcoin website for buying and selling Bitcoin.
Okay, still,
and using the local Bitcoin as a backbone. So we're just like the front end customer facing part. Do marketing to reach out to more people.
Yeah.
But we make good profit. It's because of the spread is quite high.
Yeah.
So we moved to the first co-working space in Ekamai.
Access.
No, it was PS Tower 2.
Okay.
It was a 10 people team moved into a newly established co-working space. And then after a few months there, another big crisis hit us. The anti-money laundering officers sent us a letter with my name and surname, inviting us to go in and explain what we're doing. Are we laundering money?
Oh my goodness.
And that's when my dad went crazy again. Topp, shut this company down right away. You have all other options in the world with the Oxford degree. Why are you putting yourself in jail? For money laundering. I was like, I'm not laundering money. Everything is traceable under the blockchain. We do KYC, AML. So, I had to go in and explain to the anti-money laundering officers what we're doing. And how we should draft a local reports, cryptocurrency reports. Okay. So we were working closely with the authority to set up totally new framework because this is totally new. It's a totally new thing. No existing regulations that we can tap on.
So when you go in for the first time, are they asking kind of smart, directionally correct questions? Or are they just asking you kind of to explain everything to them? How in the know are they at that point?
So we had to explain our current system, how we do KYC, AML, what is Bitcoin, what are the positive, negative side of it. And after 3 or 4 months, I became email KYC expert. It's a big crisis.
Fun thing to be an expert in, I'm sure.
Because those things were not taught in school.
How did you go about learning kind of the right way to do everything? Were you kind of in touch with those kind of people working in those departments at traditional banks, or were you just searching?
I tried every way possible, like bring friends, lawyers, research, read, and practice. There were a lot of failures in the first company. Eventually we got through that crisis fine. And then we moved to a new office. We gradually grew the company. In every crisis, there are those employees who didn't believe in the vision, left the company because they were scared. So we moved into another co-working space with a team of 20 people now, 25. Then the Bank of Thailand issued us a letter inviting us to meet with them.
All these invitations.
But they were not friendly invitations back then, right? And so we had to go and explain what we're doing. We're an e-wallet company, and we're doing money transfer with this Bitcoin technology. So education started to catch up now, back then. This is in 2015-16 now. This is when the Bank of Thailand said all the perspective of all the banks. They said that Bitcoin don't go anywhere near it, but blockchain is going to change the world.
Okay, blockchain, not Bitcoin.
So we had to rebrand our company. We're not a Bitcoin company; we're a blockchain company.
On the back of your mind, you know what's going on.
It's the same trend everywhere back then. All the Bitcoin company rebranded themselves to blockchain company. So we had to go and educate the Thai central bank. A lot of sleepless nights in preparation before the meeting.
As a 24-year-old having to get in front of these folks as kind of the face of Bitcoin in Thailand. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility, a lot on the shoulders.
And after that crisis has passed, luckily it was okay. And then another big crisis hit us. The revenue department came to our office and stayed with us for 3 months. Auditing our books. To make sure how do we pay taxes with Bitcoin properly.
Interesting.
So we had to educate them. VAT doesn't make sense. SBT makes more sense because we're making
SBT is
special business tax.
Okay.
Not a VAT.
Right.
Because VAT is 7% here.
Okay.
But we're making it's like money exchange business. We're only making 1% profit on the spread. So you should be only paying 3% on that.
Gotcha.
So I went there so many times, different levels, trying to explain what Bitcoin was. And then I became accounting expert. After that crisis,
accounting expert, KYC expert.
All these crises, they were very painful. But
high pressure.
But they forced me to learn fast. Looking back, I really appreciate those. Those failures.
Those things that get the stress out tend to bring out the best in strong founders. So.
I'm thankful that I've been through this. And at the end of 2016, I decided to exit from the company. A new CEO came from McKinsey, took over the office. Then eventually the whole group got sold to Go-Jeck. Runa also left. Right now, there are no existing founders in the company. Then in 2017, that's when I was doing different talks, probably an average of 1 talk per day. That's when the whole cryptocurrency market is booming. So I was the public face of the blockchain here. Blockchain guy.
Let's pause there. So you decide to leave Coins.th. Where I guess 2 things. So what was kind of the you mentioned these crises, employees leaving when they lose faith in you, the company, but essentially in you also. What was kind of the biggest challenge during that time? And did you ever have a point where you were kind of losing faith? Did you ever kind of doubt yourself? What was
all the time? It's entrepreneurship is one day everything is going well, well. I'm winning. The other days are what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Why am I carrying this big rock of responsibility? But it's just go and get a 9-to-5 job, go party and have spend time with friends, family. So I feel like giving up all the time, but I push forward, and I learned a lot from not giving up.
For sure. And then so Coins.th you leave in 2016.
Early 2017.
Early 2017. Gotcha. Anything else about kind of leaving the company there? What was kind of the status of the company in Thailand at that point? What was the Bitcoin ecosystem like in Thailand at that point?
Really fast.
Yeah.
We're the biggest exchange in Thailand. Then the team is big.
Yeah.
And I believe that the McKinsey person would take the company to the next level.
Gotcha.
And I saw more potential in just beyond Bitcoin. Also,
Gotcha.
Blockchain is beyond money transfer.
Okay.
I want to contribute more to the Thai ecosystem. So I decided to. I was going to take a year off, but it wasn't not really a year off because I speak pretty much every day. The cryptocurrency started to boom in 2017 after Japan announced on the 1st of April 2017 that Bitcoin is legal.
Gotcha.
You can use Bitcoin instead of Japanese yen, and that's when the industry took off. Then I during that 2017 I created a new project called Private Chain. We tried to create a new generation stock exchange. Okay. And we participate in the SEC Thai FinTech Challenge. And luckily we came first. Okay. We created a stock exchange that are able to match equities real time T+0 seconds with the blockchain technology.
Interesting. Okay.
And we came first, and the SEC was kind of loose face a bit because we could not really launch the product because of the existing law, the legacy law. So they decided to create a sandbox to make sure that we can launch the business. Right. And after the 2017 boom, the SEC was ordered from the Ministry of Finance to put some regulation in place. So they decided to take this sandbox that they created and pivot it to the digital asset exchange. So I was working closely with them for 2 years to help draft local regulation.
And you're still on the board of the FinTech?
Yes, Thai FinTech Association.
Thai FinTech Association, okay.
And they invited me to like their private hearings to give in like expert insights, because I'm probably the only one with the years of experience. Because no one believed in Bitcoin back then. Right, it was just me operating the company. Yeah. So I went to their private hearings.
And this is the private hearings for what's exactly the government agency? Digital
Asset Exchange for Thai SEC, Security Exchange Commission of Thailand. They are assigned to look after the whole digital asset space.
Gotcha.
I remember pitching to the board of the SEC, the highest floor, external board members, internal board members, about how we should regulate this space. Wow. I was the one, and luckily they buy the idea. Okay. And they decided to go forward with which I still remember that they were debating, should we have a centralized custodian or each exchange have their own wallet custodian for security reasons. That's where they're most worried. Gotcha. For security purpose.
Makes sense.
So after like 2 years, like really like hard work, the regulation came out. And then I decided to take this idea, private chain, and go fundraising, because the regulation is in the process. I know that the regulation is about to be launched. So I started to fundraise with different investors, and with my previous experience with Coins, I was able to close the biggest seed investment round in the Thai startup history. Wow. We were able to close 2.1 million USD at 16 million valuation. Yeah. At 16 million, it's usually Series A in a Thai startup community. But that was our seed round. It was just a piece of paper. Presentation slides.
Wow. Well, your history, your kind of proven track record, you raised $2 million at $16 million valuation for your seed round.
2.1. Yeah. Cool. And then I started to consolidate companies, and then I met my co-founders, Kun Ton Sakonkorn. He was the former CEO of Garena Game, Thailand. Okay. He wanted to create an exchange also. So we came together and I started to fundraise.
Gotcha.
And then we put together a team.
And he came from a gaming company in Thailand. Was it a kind of a known successful startup or known successful bigger gaming company?
Garena is a C group now.
Okay.
The unicorn.
Okay, cool. It's a unicorn now.
Yeah, in Singapore. They are all the FIFA games. They're all from like C group.
Gotcha.
Esport company. They're listed in the New York Stock Exchange.
Okay. EA.
EA. There's one of the part of that game that they resell.
Gotcha. Like franchised for the. Okay, cool. So he was COO there. You pull him in. You're kind of chatting with him.
Then he left Garena.
Yeah.
And he was one of the very very first user of Coins actually.
Oh wow.
he always came to our meetup.
Cool.
Back then meetup was very small. Maybe a maximum of 30 people.
Yeah.
To attend a Bitcoin meetup back then.
So
but he was one of those familiar faces all the time.
That's great. So I guess back to that point for 1 second. So you mentioned that as part of your early team at Coins.th, it was essentially marketing, right? You're marketing Bitcoin, you're marketing what people can do. The meetup scene back then. I think maybe Westerners who have come through. There's kind of a Western meetup that a group did, and then you had was it a more local meetup?
It was a more of a local meetup, but a lot more foreigners are joining because they know more about Bitcoin and local community. So we had a mixture.
Were those monthly?
Yes, we tried to do monthly.
Yeah.
But there was a more casual Bitcoin Satoshi back then. Monthly dinner gathering.
Yeah.
Group
That's
of
what
5,
I'm thinking of,
6 people. But now we're doing like 30 people, like speaking engagement.
Gotcha.
We were the only one that did meetup, a proper meetup.
Gotcha. The other ones were more kind of like grabbing beers, grabbing food. Yeah. Okay, cool. I never attended any of this. Wish I had. So your new co-founder is one of the early guys in the Bitcoin scene, a customer of yours, and at those early meetups. That's a fun part of it.
He was a trader. Yeah. big account.
Okay, cool.
So we started to put together a team. I used 2.1 million to acquire a small IT company also to speed up the whole process.
You're just making you founded a company and had no experience. And now you're just raising funds, record funds, doing M&A with the funds. So cool.
To shorten the timeline, to speed up. So I acquired the whole office, the last office that we went.
Gotcha.
It was it was an IT company.
Gotcha.
So we
also a good location, by the way, right there at Chillon.
It's very good. Yeah. So it was a team of about 15 people, and we bring in our own people, another like 10. So we started with like 20
Gotcha.
people, 25 people team.
Gotcha.
And then we launched an exchange after 4 months after the first, after we raised our seed round. And we gradually grew from there. And now we're a 100 people team. Account for 90% of all the cryptocurrency transactions. 2 months ago, we grew 1,000%.
Oh my goodness!
In terms of revenue transaction, and right now we are probably the most profitable blockchain company in Thailand.
Yeah.
Under our group, there are 3 companies now. The first one is a cryptocurrency exchange, a fully licensed.
Okay.
One of the 2 companies only.
So the company that you, the kind of holding parent company is called, that you started initially and then started to make these purchases through, is called what?
Bitkub Blockchain Capital. Bitkub Capital Group Holdings.
Bitkub Capital Group Holdings. Okay. And then
So we raise fund there,
yep.
and then we create more blockchain companies under that we hold 100%.
Gotcha.
Right? The first one is a fully licensed cryptocurrency exchange, which accounts for 90% of all the cryptocurrency transactions in the country.
90% of cryptocurrency transactions in the country.
Very profitable. Bitkub.com.
Yep.
And the second company is a blockchain solution. So we push blockchain beyond the money system, beyond the banking system. We are working with the governments, private companies, and publicly listed companies. All of them are our clients for blockchain projects. Because they don't, we are the face of blockchain, so they usually come to us. Also very profitable. The third company is Blockchain Academy, Bitkub Academy.
Bitkub Academy, okay.
So it's very similar to the Blockchain Center. So we educate corporations, B2B, and we also do B2C. how to open account, how to trade cryptocurrencies. So right now there are 3 companies operating under our group,
Gotcha.
and we have a huge pipeline of other companies lining up. We are planning to do broker dealer license, ICO portal license, digital assets, mutual fund, advisory services under this group. I think if we grow at this rate, we'll probably hit 200 people next year.
Oh, wow.
And 6 months ago, we closed a pre-series A, also the largest pre-series A in this Thai startup history. We closed almost $2 million USD at 25 million valuation.
Yeah, so 6 months later. So you raised the Series A. You're kind of maybe in a kind of a capex phase. You're doing some M&A, investing in your infrastructure for the exchange, and then 6 months later, you raise a pre-A, another $2 million.
After about a year and a half.
A year and a half, gotcha.
And then we raised pre-A, another almost $2 million at 25 million valuation.
Yeah.
At 25 million is usually beyond Series A already for a Thai startup. Yeah.
So some context for listeners in the U.S. The largest seed round at a 16 million valuation, and then this pre-A at a $25 million valuation is ahead of where most pre-As in Thailand are.
And then we grew 1,000% since then. So 25 is already like undervalued.
Right. 1,000% since 25. Yeah, that's great. I hadn't heard all the detail of this background. It's been fun to hear the ins and outs of it. So Bitkub today, you kind of gave an overview of the different entities under the parent company and business lines. Can you take us maybe a little bit more specifically through some of the milestones in the growth of the exchange? That's kind of more the Bitcoin play of this. Where did that growth start to kind of hit a tipping point? How did you get to the point where 90% of trading is on Bitkub? There was a point where there was more competition, and I think there's been some regulatory things that have happened in that 2 years. Take us through some of that for the exchange.
Sure. So when we first launched an exchange, that was in 2018, after the ICO boom.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we did, we experimented was giving out a car
marketing.
For the marketing to try to get people to sign up.
Yeah.
There were a lot of signups. On the first day, our website crashed.
It's a good result for the marketing. Yeah.
But after that, we realized that the product is not as stable because we were racing against time. We need to launch before the regulation is launched. Otherwise, that's another 6 months of frozen period.
Gotcha.
That's why we were racing against the regulation to be out before the regulation.
So you want to launch before the regulation, and then there's going to be like a kind of a grandfathering in period once the regulation comes for people who are already operating.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So the website went down, and we had to stabilize the system. It took us a few months to get the product ready and stable, fully function again. But even then, we only account for maybe 5% off.
5%.
Yeah. Of the whole market share.
Gotcha.
Mostly is still using the orders exchange,
which was
BX.
BX.
But then we try to add new coins to make sure that the number of coins matched with BX. To make sure they have 28 coins. So we started to add more and more coins until we overtook them. Now we have 30 coins, some more products. And then we launched mobile apps because we did a research and found out that Thailand is a mobile-driven economy. There are more mobile phone subscription than the internet users. On average, there are 1.4 mobile per person in Thailand.
In Thailand, 1.4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So average more than one phone.
Obviously more than one phone per person. Yeah, that's okay. So your market research, your one of the takeaways is that mobile is important. So a mobile app rolling out is one thing.
Yeah. So we are trying to be a mobile-driven company.
Gotcha.
So we are the first cryptocurrency company with a mobile app in Thailand. That facilitated our growth as well. So we decided to have we keep sending newsletter. That was our initial hack for growth. Newsletter for our database.
Okay.
We allowed free trading, free sign up, free credits for people to get when they sign up. but most of them are not fully activated because they're happy with the old products. So people are not moving to our exchange.
Gotcha.
So we try to send newsletters, promotional newsletter. We have more coins now than BIA6. We have the best customer support. We have mobile apps now.
Yeah.
You're going to try us?
24/7 customer support.
24/7,
yeah.
So we keep emailing those upgrades to make sure we have better service, more products, trust. I pretty much go to every single event as a speaker in Thailand.
You do probably 400 talks that year.
Yeah. I mean, 400, 500 talks now in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Average like 1 stage each. So people in the Thai community probably know my face already.
Yeah.
That I'm the face of Bitkub, so they have trust that there is a face behind this company.
Yeah.
And the other BX guys, he is very introvert. He never go to any events.
Interesting.
So the reason why the people were using his exchange is because he's been here for a long time. So it takes time for the community to trust a company, but he's not very socially extrovert person. So I'm trying to first fill in the trust gap by being the face of the company, go into different talks, educate people, sign people up organically.
Yeah. So you through the fire, you became an AML expert, AML KYC expert. You became a tax expert, and then in this new founding role, you became a marketing expert and getting the word out. So
yeah. So I'm doing a different role here because you learn a lot from the previous company, and within this company, I did not repeat the same mistakes as I previously did, and the company grew really fast from the previous mistakes, from skipping the previous mistakes, and I was putting people in place of what I've been doing in the past, so I have more free time to put in a different hat. So now my job is mostly lobbying, like public policy, spokesperson. Those things I did not have a chance to do because I was putting out fires in the previous company internally.
Yeah.
So now I'm more like an external CEO.
Gotcha.
And the system designer to design a system for it to self-function.
Yeah.
The company must be able to function without like me being there every day.
Yeah.
So I'm more like a system designer and external CEO to share about the vision, mission, spokesperson, lobbying, working with the government,
Yeah, strategic direction, making sure that there are no catastrophic problems on the regulatory side or the money side. I guess is.
So my job is to bring in resources, set cultures, lobbying the government, and being a spokesperson.
Yep.
Hopefully, there's a public policy team who will take care of this
there you go.
soon. So
that's the next growth piece.
Yeah. So I can start to wear different hats as we move along and grow the company. And we were doing really well after those organic invitations and product launch and service improvement. And we connected to all the banks here, trying to do more hours, longer hours, 24/7. Email, answering customers faster to win over customers' heart. And we gradually grew until we took over around like 30% of the market shares.
Okay.
And it was I think last year was the first month that the whole group started to become profitable.
Okay.
Break even for the first time.
Yeah.
We were burning like 3 million every month. And then
3 million baht.
Yeah. We were a team of like 60, 70 people, very lean.
Yeah.
So we started to catch up with BX, and then suddenly, out of the blue, they decided to say goodbye. I'm leaving the industry. Please transfer your assets out within 30 days. That's when we grew 1,000%.
Okay.
And now we are very profitable. We're a team of 100 people.
Yeah.
We haven't stopped. We have a lot of sleepless nights for people here because we had to grow 10 times in like a few months.
Yeah, I was talking to your co-founder last night, and he was talking about the number of days he had worked in a row without taking a day off. I think his max was 35 days in a row with no days off, working like 14-hour days. So that was that extreme growth period is exciting, but also tiring, I'm sure.
I can tell you now, in 2019, this year, we're about to end the year. I have probably taken less than maybe 10 days off for the whole year.
Yeah.
Because even on weekends, I'm like speaking for the company in different places.
Yeah.
Or catching up with the office work.
Yeah.
On the weekends.
One additional thing I want to pinpoint. So I think something that people in the West, when they hear about what's happening in Thailand and kind of the Bitcoin space, the kind of public statements by regulators, any kind of licensing that happens are probably the things people remember the most. Anything happen in that last year and a half on that side that is worth mentioning? I know there's kind of some licenses given to certain exchanges. Maybe pinpoint that a little bit.
So right now there are 2 operational exchanges in the country. But most of the people, 90% are using our Bitkub exchange.
So 2 licensed exchanges now. You're one of the 2, obviously.
And there are other exchanges applying for the licenses. And some got the license already, but they are not operational yet.
Gotcha.
But unfortunately, like those exchanges that got the license, there are hacking events outside of Thailand. For example, Upbit, they got a license in Thailand, but recently their parent company got hacked for $50 million.
Yeah, just this past week. Yeah.
So the SEC of Thailand is very conservative.
Right.
So I'm sure there was like, please hold on.
Gotcha.
Don't launch it.
Yeah.
Also,
I can imagine. Yeah.
Bitkub is another one that got a license from Thailand. Then the Japanese counterpart got hacked.
Oh gosh.
So the SEC said, hold on.
Yeah.
You're not launching anytime soon.
Yeah. So when some of these other exchanges that are Asia-based exchanges but want to open up an office in Thailand that's with the right licensing, are they mostly getting in touch with like entrepreneurs in Thailand who want to be the kind of franchise of the exchange, or are they coming in and trying to do it themselves as kind of outsiders?
There are two models actually. So say for Hobby Thailand, they're still in the process of applying for the license. They're using Hobby Cloud. It's like an AWS version for exchange, white label. Their technology over, but it's still the operational team or the fundraising team is still local.
Yeah.
They are the previous Cash to Coin asset team combined.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we're not too worried about this team because, I mean, all those crises they've been through in the past, those guys haven't experienced any of them yet. And I was fortunate that I could experiment back then. But now with the regulation in place, those guys have less opportunities to fail.
Okay.
Right, so
that's a great point that you've had to make it through these fires to have that experience.
And those are like business secrets that no one would know, apart from us that failed before. And learn fast. So we're not too worried about those guys. And there are other ways to other foreign exchange. They'll come in and with themselves and finding like local country manager.
Cool. And 90% market share. That's y'all are clearly kind of have been in a dominant position here. Is so. Can you? There are other exchanges that are wanting to enter the market for a reason, right? There's growth. There are users. Is Bitkub and y'all's business? Is it 100% Thai locals? Do you have it? How do you think is the strategic direction of the company? How do you think about the company's growth in terms of, hey, Asia is a big market versus, hey, we have this kind of siloed thing in Thailand that's going well? How are you thinking about Asia versus Thailand overall, I guess?
So right now the whole company is profitable, so we don't really need money, but we are still fundraising. We should raise when we don't need money. So we're looking for partners that would, strategic investor, that would take us another 10x, 1,000% growth, more than just money, or someone with insights who's been working in the banking sector, payment sector, who can give invaluable advice. Those are the things that we treasure more than money, because we're profitable, very profitable now. So we're talking to quite a few to be able to take us to the next next level. And right now we're doing really well. Our volume exceeded OKCoin in the US already.
Wow.
And also our traffic already exceeded Bitflyer. I can show you quickly here. That's here's the global exchange volume, and Bitkub already exceeded OKCoin in the US. These both of us and OKCoin's regulated exchange, so we cannot fake volumes. These are real volume.
Yeah.
And we already overtook OKCoin, which they were like the top 3 exchanges in the world, right? Back then, before Binance came around.
Yeah.
And here's the traffic from SimilarWeb, which is a public data. We are comparing ourselves against Bitflyer, the number 1 exchange in Japan. We already overtook Bitflyer, the blue line. Yeah. We have more visitors per month than them.
Impressive. Now. Yeah. Encourage everyone to look that up themselves, but over
these are all public data.
Yeah.
So we're doing really well, exceeded our expectation with very lean. We will be profitable for the whole year this year finally by the end of this calendar year, which is only the 2nd year of the company.
It's amazing. It's amazing the growth over these 2 years.
Yeah, and we only burned like almost 2 million. Not even 2 million in the first year. So we didn't even touch the pre-Series A money. And you've been very, I guess, public in kind of your strategy and I guess just communication-wise. I think your blog post on your secret strategy for growth that you published, and then a letter to shareholders. I would recommend anyone listening to. We'll link those in the show notes, but to give a little more insight into how you're thinking strategically. So those have to be some happy seed investors. I know we were introduced originally by one of your seed investors who's a mutual friend. So it's fun to kind of know some of the people who are part of that. Sure. So we're trying to create a new generation stock exchange, and we can't do this ourselves. There must be different players from the ecosystem that try to grow and work with. For example, Sound Blockchain is the biggest media here.
Yeah.
Blockchain is like blockchain news.
Yep.
We are the main investor, the largest investor, and we're working with them closely to educate the public.
Yep.
And
onboarding new people into Bitcoin is an important part of your growth.
Yep, the right way to understand, have the right knowledge. Or even 2 days ago, there's the largest blockchain event.
3,000 people
3,000,
in Bangkok. It's amazing.
Yeah, last year only 1,000 people came. That was big already, like the biggest event of the year.
Yeah.
But this year, within a year, we will manage to grow 3x.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting market. The blockchain developments or awareness already exceeded other countries. If you
were you talking about any specific metrics there? Awareness of
all the cryptocurrency. We are one of the very first country to legalize it, legalize trading, to give out exchange licenses, or even on the blockchain solution part. The banks, all the Thai banks came together and created a new company, AnyID, eKYC, and share customers' data on the blockchain. So people would have to do KYC once and create multiple bank accounts.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different blockchain projects. We are tokenizing corporate bonds with the Ministry of Finance. We're working with them. Even 3 weeks ago, the Bank of Thailand came to our office. A good one. This time. Positive.
They came to your office, so you invited them this time.
No, they keep asking me when can they visit.
There you go.
They brought a team of 10 people. Now they have a separate digital currency team.
Wow.
In Thailand, in Bank of Thailand, 10 people team, and they started to ask us for advice now. Like, if Libra is coming along, if digital yuan is coming, what should we do? Should we create a national digital currency?
Yeah, interesting. So y'all are obviously part of the brain trust for what Thailand's kind of digital currency strategy is going to be, which is a cool spot for you to be in.
Yes, because I was fortunate to help the SEC before.
Yeah.
And the Bank of Thailand ignored this and said, this is not classified as currency. It's an asset. You guys look after it, the SEC. But
Bank of Thailand, central bank, gives it over to the SEC to be part of their portfolio. Gotcha.
Yeah, completely. They don't want to anything to be involved with cryptocurrency. But after the announcement of Libra, stablecoin, and digital yuan, right, they are stable coins, so who should really be looking after the medium of exchange?
Sure.
So they started to explore and create a new team, start experimenting.
Okay.
And they came to our office and asking for our advice now. So it's a good visit this time.
Yeah, that's great.
Completely different story from 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really fun to hear this. So you, kind of last point, your kind of market sentiment here. We just had the biggest conference that there's ever been in Bangkok, 3,000 people, locals and people in town for it. Growth trajectory for Bitcoin in Thailand now. You kind of have a hand in that via the exchange side as the, I guess, most popular onboarding tool for new people into Bitcoin. Plus, you have kind of this education initiative that Bitcoin is probably a part of. What do you see as the most important things in the next year or 2 years in terms of onboarding more locals into Bitcoin and kind of the role that you're playing?
I mean, if Libra is really launched by 2020, in the latter half of the year, it will create mass adoption for sure, or digital yuan. It would speed up the whole ecosystem for sure. But we're not betting on that. We are pushing the ecosystem ourselves too. Recently, we partnered with Ripple. They're launching RippleNet system that allows us to do remittance with one order of magnitude cheaper than existing system. Recently, the Purple Bank in Thailand is testing RippleNet, right? Ripple, not RippleNet, and transfer money between Thailand and the UK, and that takes them only 30 seconds. And the fee is almost
30 minutes for you back in 2013.
Now it's 30 seconds, almost zero fee. So we are integrating with Ripple now, and hopefully we can open remittance service and help improve lives of people here by reducing this deadbed loss that you have to pay to intermediaries. It's a 10x better product, better experience, and also we are already very profitable by charging 10x less than the current banking applications. And we're planning to launch a crypto debit card as well, debit card, to facilitate the tourists coming to Thailand. Thailand is like a tourist destination, destination. A lot of tourists here every year, and they're paying expensive, ridiculous money exchange fee. And once we launch this card, people can request the card from our app, and they can keep their wealth. Or even foreigners who could not open a bank account, cannot get access to financial services here. They can open a Bitkub account at home, eKYC, and they can keep their wealth in USDT, which is another stable coin, or another future stable coins. And when they really need to cash out, then they can use this card on any ATMs in Thailand without the need of having a proper bank account. So we're acting as a layer on top.
Yeah, that's huge.
And they're using us as a bank, as another bank. And you can use this card for payments around Thailand instead of cash, or even get cash out on any ATM's machine. So we're providing financial access to the unbanked. Even the foreigners that are unbanked, not because they can't afford to, but because banks don't allow them.
Exactly.
So, so we can be a foreign digital bank in the future for money transfer, for cash in, cash out channels, utility bills, credit.
Connecting the fiat and digital, and
acting as a bridge.
Very cool. Dude, well, really interesting tidbits from you this whole time. I've enjoyed it. I guess to close, more of a cultural kind of Thailand thing. What's one thing you would recommend anyone who is not from here to do or learn about? One recommendation, something to eat, something to watch, a book, anything about Bangkok, where we are. What's one recommendation you would have for someone who's traveling here and wants to learn more about the city?
I think there's a research saying that if you have like 7 days, where is the best to go? I think Thailand's number one. To spend your 7 days. It's the best spot. I would encourage you to, Thailand is really nice in terms of like quality to price ratio. You can get really nice products at a very good price. Quality to price is great. So you can go up to Chiang Mai if you like mountains. If you can go down to Phuket, Krabi for if you like beach diving.
Yeah.
It's really nice. People are really friendly here, especially outside Bangkok.
For sure.
The foreign communities are getting bigger and bigger because the cost of living here is nice.
Your team now, is it made up of, what's kind of the breakdown of locals versus?
We're very international. We have people from like Madagascar,
okay,
Vietnam, Philippines, China. It's quite international. Yeah.
Cool.
So I think I would encourage you to just pack your bag and experience Thailand yourself. You will like it.
There you go.
There are a lot of people saying a lot of good things about Thailand. Very few say bad things about Thailand. It's like that's the reason why Thailand is like number one on the tourist list.
So the recommendation is take your 7-day trip to Thailand as soon as possible.
Yes, and keep some Bitcoin instead if you want to cash out with Bitkub.
There you go with Bitkub. Love it. Well, appreciate the time, and we'll have to catch up again later on about as the market here develops and just to stay up to date. So thanks.
Sure, pleasure. Thank you, John.
A quick reminder, all of the content in this episode is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained in this presentation constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by BTC Media, the Let's Talk Bitcoin podcast network, or any third-party service provider to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments.